Thank you very much, friends, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Dupont Circle. I'm the president, Luke Beer. We have a number of our colleagues joining us today and a special guest, the district governor of our district, 7620, which extends all the way up in Baltimore and across into the eastern part of Maryland. So we're going to hear about the clubs and the district's news, and generally we're going to keep up with our other activities and news. A number of our colleagues are joining right now. I'm so excited. To start with that, we normally have our mission statement. Gaston, our colleague, can you please read our mission statement?
Absolutely. We use our professional diversity and international perspective to serve our community, both local and global, in concrete ways through hard work, innovation, and creativity. The synergy of the club lets us have a higher impact on the world than possible as an individual while enriching us through fellowship.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Gaston. At this time, we normally do a toast. We've been having a lot of fun. We've gotten international toasts sent to us from all the way from the UK, actually, a couple of weeks back, District Governor. Since it's my right as president, I'm going to offer today's toast. I was contacted by a Rotary Club in Montreal, actually, the original Rotary Club of Montreal, established in 1913. And I had a great chat with the Rotary Club president, and it made me super excited. Because as I've always espoused, when a Rotarian calls you, you immediately know, where their heart is and who they are, in the sense of what type of person they are. And him and I got on like a house on fire. We had a chat. I'm going to give a talk to their club on Friday about my activities and experience in Afghanistan. But what it did give me was an opportunity to call an old friend from Montreal and say, hey, I'm giving a presentation at the Rotary Club of Montreal, and you better be there on Friday. So I'm thinking of Rotary International President's call for us to each bring one. And I'm not bringing my guest to our club, but I'm sending him to another club. So I think that's where the toast. If you can't catch one of your friends to bring them here, send them elsewhere, but make sure they get the Rotary message. So cheers to Rotary being an international organization and being able to send friends to Rotary clubs all around the world. Cheers. Marvelous. So normally we would read our news, but we definitely want to move right into our program unless there's something immediate that's required. I'm going to ask District Governor Assistant Mandy to introduce our speakers today.
Thank you, Luke. Geetha, it is a privilege to see you again this week. Maybe I will make this a tradition and we can have weekly meetings where I surprise you and show up. I would like to introduce you to our district governor, Dr. Geetha Jayaram. She is the district governor for District 7620 for 2021-22. She's a past Rotaractor and a recipient of a 2005 to 2006 Rotary Grant for university teachers, a professor of psychiatry at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, Public Health, and Nursing. In 1997, from the Rotary Clubs of Columbia and Howard West, Dr. Jayaram founded the, I'm going to mess this up, Geetha, the Maanasi Clinic in Mugalur, India. She has volunteered for National Immunization Days for eradicating polio in India several times. She started 2 Rotaract clubs and her current Rotary Club of Howard West. She increased membership in Rotary. She taught as a facilitator for the Rotary Leadership Institute. She lectured at many Rotary district conferences and zone institutes throughout North America, Asia, and Europe. She has procured over 20 grants for domestic and international Rotary work amounting to several $1 million. And our club has the privilege this evening of hearing from our distinguished district governor. Take it away.
Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. I am so delighted to be with this wonderful club where the women outnumber the men. And I'll tell you why in a minute. You all are young, vibrant, creative, and highly sophisticated, not just in your thinking, but in the way you see and embrace Rotary. That is very unique to your club. Many of you are less than the age of 50, if not all, which is fabulous because you are our future leaders. And you have accumulated an all-time giving of $55,937 to the Rotary Foundation. That's an enormous amount for a small young club. You have 25,248 foundation recognition points. Now, what does that mean? It means not only that you have given, but you can use these points to create Paul Harris Fellowships among your club members, among people who visit your club that you invite to speak at your club, and those in the community that you consider heroes in the community who do service in the community and who are leaders. Now, once you've done that, it's only one step more to ask them to belong to your club and become members. Now, many of you are Paul Harris Fellows. We're very proud of the fact that Mandy is a Paul Harris Fellow ×8. Monique is a Paul Harris Fellow. You have someone called with the last name Warner, who is a Paul Harris Fellow ×2. Kristen Post is a Paul Harris Fellow ×8, am I correct? And many of you are giving to the Rotary Foundation. Now, in order to qualify for grants, though, you have to be MOU certified, and I would strongly encourage you all to do that because we've now opened up a third wave of invitation for grant applications that focus on women and children. And I believe a number of you are interested in that, and you should think about how you get qualified and be MOU certified in order to apply for those grants. So you should give yourselves a big hand in terms of so many accomplishments for a young and vibrant club. Now, you have many leaders, not just in the community, but in the district. Kristen Post was leading the Peace Fellowship, was the chair for that, and was just stepped down this year. Monique has not only led Rotaract, but has ably managed teaching and mentoring at RLI. Mandy has assumed the AG's role for a long time and has made a remarkable difference and is always very calm and extremely, well-balanced in terms of her responses. That's not the case with everybody. So thank you, Mandy. And a number of you, Luke has written to me about how he's married to Melinda, a USA diplomat, and he was an exchange student to Nasik, India, which is at the border of, Mumbai, the central city of Mumbai, and that his grandfather was a lifelong Rotarian. He's also a past president of the Rotary Club of Kabul City, which is remarkable. So clearly, when you talk about embracing the cultures of other, not just countries, but continents, you all are very, very well versed in this. We, in the area of this district, are very proud of our Baltimore and our DC clubs because they consist of extremely talented young individuals like yourselves. So thank you very much for doing what you do. Now, Mandy had said, you all already knew about my strategic plan, and I'll come to that in a minute. So I won't repeat a number of things maybe that you've already heard from Mandy. Let me talk about something that I think is unique to Rotary. It's not long ago that you heard about the thoughts and the ideas and the gratitude people had about first responders during 9/11. On that particular day, I actually was in Manhattan driving towards Scarsdale, New York to do a consultation. The extraordinary effort first responders did, medical people, people on the streets, absolute total strangers, in rescuing 30 to 40,000 individuals was unbelievable. These are people who carried a handicapped person down 65 flights of stairs to safety. There were firemen who put their children's lives at stake in order to rescue others. That spirit of altruism is something that is remarkable, that has something to do with the Rotary spirit of service. I believe in each one of you, there is that little flame of altruism where you think, how can I make somebody else's life better? And you're not thinking about how does it deprive me? You're just doing it because you want to. Now, in my journey through Rotary, as a teenager, as a young adult, and as a medical student and then a resident, I will tell you I have worked with low and middle income people all over the world. I chose to work with the poor in inner city Baltimore. And I will tell you that the experiences of those patients in inner city Baltimore are no different than the poor who are in Kenya or in India or in Cambodia or any other place in the world where there is limited access to proper medical care, limited access to literacy and teaching, limited access to transportation, and limited knowledge about what exactly one has to access in order to obtain the best care that one needs. Also, across the world, two things stand out. One is that poverty is something people didn't ask to be born into. It's not a crime. It's not something you want to do as part of your life. It's something that you have absolutely no choice over. So millions of women and children go to bed hungry across the world. The numbers are astonishing. When I went to work in the villages in India, the first 10 years, I wasn't even aware of the fact that a high school child, who looks like a 12-year-old, by the way, in those villages, did not have a full nutritious meal even once a day. They would sit in the hot sun during their recess with nothing to eat and nothing to drink. If they got running water, that was a bonus. So it's only recently, maybe about 10 years ago, that the government began supplying a nutritious midday meal made on the school premises for children. The women are often the ones who sacrifice a great deal. They are beaten. They are the victims of sexual and domestic violence. They often are sacrificed in terms of their education. So child marriages are very common in many countries. To think that it doesn't happen here in the United States is a big mistake. Most of the high school dropouts in inner city Baltimore have a 9th grade education, and they drop out because of teenage pregnancy. So the risks to a woman's education and to her health are rampant across the globe. Now, if a woman isn't educated, that family doesn't survive. An educated woman is going to make sure that her children do better than she has done. An educated woman will make sure that her kids have access to vaccines. And then she becomes aware of the fact that she has to do something to empower herself to have an independent income. That's why in my strategic plan, the first M stands for mothers and children, or maternal and child health. So I would encourage you strongly to focus on ways in which you can help women in your own backyard. It does not have to be somewhere in a third world country. It can be right here, because there are young women who drop out of community college because they don't have $250 for proper meals when they go to school, or they don't have money for gas, or they don't have money for books, a number of these things, because we've given money to young women who go to Howard Community College, single mothers who are returning to school. And I will tell you, giving $1,000 makes an enormous difference. The second thing I've noticed in my serving people across the globe is Rotarians make an enormous difference. When I first started my program in rural India, it was because the chairman of my department, who interviewed me for my residency at Hopkins when I was a very young woman, said to me, "Dr. Jayaram, if people like you leave your country, what happens to the people of your country?" Now, that question really haunted me for a long time, until I was able to join Rotary, when I was permitted to join Rotary. Because when I first asked, and I asked 3 times, they said, "Forget about it. We don't take women. You can't join." So ultimately, when I was allowed to join, that was in 96. In 97, I started this project. It took a huge amount of work, and I certainly didn't do it by myself. My husband, PDG Jay, helped me all along the way. But there were a number of Rotarians at the receiving end who were extraordinarily involved and generous and supportive. The key principle of our program in southern India was the dovetailing of mental health care into already existing primary health care, so that it was an integrated care clinic where the poor went for everything. For prenatal care, for elder care, for hearing and vision loss, for everything, they went to one place. It was a lot easier. We also trained local women caseworkers who had a high school education and who were willing to be trained and approach people in the villages. They were trained extremely well, and they continue to be trained and supervised. They became our absolute backbone for that program. They went to people's homes, they did outreach, they educated women in women's cooperatives, they educated women in local schoolrooms, they had focus groups, and they used instruments that we use for research to evaluate patients, screen them for common mental disorders, and bring them to the clinic. So other than just plain treatment and care, we had an additional layer of research and teaching in our program. We've published a number of papers. Every one of our papers acknowledges the role of Rotary and the Rotary grants that we used to do the program. So we have assessed outcomes, we did epidemiologic surveys, we did needs assessments that were very scientific. And I think that's what enables the program to be sustained, because there is a medical school involved and faculty involved. Now, we've taught hundreds of medical students, residents, junior faculty, caseworkers, social workers in the clinic, and we continue to treat a caseload of close to 2,000 active patients. We are at this point we have almost finished developing a cloud-based database with software that can be used in any low and middle income country for the care of patients in villages or in areas that are remote. And COVID stalled it a bit, but I hope we will do that. And the Rotarians in India and I want to be able to donate that, something that would cost millions of dollars in this country. We want to be able to donate that to the rest of the world, particularly to low and middle income countries. Now, the success of that program attracted the attention of Shekhar Saxena from the WHO, who called me and Jay to be presenting this in Geneva, which we did as we represented Rotary International. The second place where we did this project, using the same model of having academia involved, having community stakeholders involved, and having people who are Rotarians who were really very passionate about this, was in Lithuania, where we dropped suicide rates in 14 districts because they had, among students and children, I call them children, between the ages of 15 to 24, who were dying at 4 times the rate of young people in the United States by suicide. So they made a very determined effort, using just about every possible support system and partnering with mayors, with law enforcement, with Scandinavian countries, with the Netherlands. They did a remarkable job of bringing the rates of suicide down and developing a network and a system that was very able to support their young people if they needed help. So we're doing the same thing in Kenya, and I won't go into great details. Now, Kenya is a whole lot much more behind than even India, so we've had to make a lot of effort to get them up to snuff. I'll tell you a couple of stories, though. When we go to do this work, it's just amazing how receptive the people are, how warm and caring they are, and how grateful they are for anything that you do for them. So one story, one of my nurses said, for a young woman who had bipolar illness in one of the villages, she was abandoned by her husband. She'd been in a state of postpartum depression. She took to bed. She wouldn't do anything. He just labeled her lazy and disappeared with her infant baby. And there was nothing anyone would do. Her family rejected her. She was by herself. And the neighbors and our caseworkers rescued this young woman, and we began treating her. Now, it was not as simple as we thought it would be. She stabilized, but she also had difficulty being compliant with what we had asked her to do. Long story short, a number of instances of encounters going to her home. Every year when I went to India, I'd go see Radha. She was finally able to stay stable. She got a job. She's able to support herself. But the immense gratitude this woman has is just heart-rending. You go to her home, it's like an 8 by 8 foot space with packed earth, covered with cow dung paste to keep the insects out. Very tidy little space with just one makeshift clay oven in the corner and a little shrine where she prays every day. She rolls out this bamboo mat for you to sit down. She's running around frantic trying to please you because she thinks you are these honored guests in her little home. And that kind of immense gratitude and warmth and the reverence she was showing us, you will never forget. We think, here we are making an enormous difference for this woman. Frankly, we weren't doing that much. We walk away with an extraordinary sense of fulfillment and gratitude ourselves, and this unbelievable high you get from helping others that makes you feel you have to go back. So when people say to me, why do you go there? Dr. Jayaram, you go there every year during your vacation time and you're spending all this time in these villages. Why do you do that? I think they have no idea how intoxicating it is to go and help people, because you see one thing is done and then you want to see another thing and then you want to do another thing. It's just endless. So within that one program, we've done a huge number of projects. We've given EKG machines, we've given furniture, we've given them scooters for these young women who go into the villages because there are no paved roads there. The scooters pretty much died after 15 years of use. So I went to the Rotary Club of Greenwich, Connecticut, which is like the backyard of Wall Street. And those people certainly have the disposable income that will help us. And I said, look, guys, we need 4 scooters, and they said, oh, really? And of course, I showed them the whole, program, pictures, all of that. And they said, sure. And we had the 4 new scooters for our caseworkers. So there are many, many projects we've done in the 22 years we've been there. Now, if I don't go back, that will continue because the value of what we do is just absolutely, it has influenced not just the villagers, but the stakeholders, the leaders in the villagers, the counselors. Everybody understands this is making a remarkable difference. I hope the same thing will happen in Kenya. So the second thing, though, we are not doing as well or haven't, and it's improving by stages, is the marketing. So if you're putting this on YouTube or whatever, TikTok or whatever else you're putting it on, I'm hoping people are hearing that Rotarians are just incredible people who make a difference across the world. And if anybody wants to see this, they've got to belong to Rotary. It doesn't matter how young you are. I started when I was a child because my father was a Rotarian and he introduced us into service when we were very young. This is the biggest gift he gave us. It will never leave us, and I'm hoping that my children will do more or less the same. So Rotary needs to be marketed, and we are doing this by leaps and bounds, but everyone's got to participate. So our Rotary Service Days, which you will see on our website, where if you click on Service Days, you see 2 other bullet points under it, resources and activities. The resources are ready and available to you to tailor-make the way you want for your community, for a spot where you go and do your service days. There are business cards, there's a QR code, there is a vanity phone number, 1-866-GO-ROTARY, available to you. Use it to do as much marketing as you can, because that's what's going to bring in new members for you. You all are so bright and so capable, you should be getting others to join you by leaps and bounds. You can't be moving at a snail's pace. You should be getting 10 members a week, guys. You are so good. You should be getting them, and you can. Trust me, you can. At your age, your network is huge, not just through social media, but just your colleagues, people you correspond with, and in your work setting. you should be able to get people. So marketing is the second M. The third M, we already talked about it, is membership. And the last M has to do with modernizing Rotary. Our Interact group, supervised by Rotaract, is trying to do something very important that they're really working hard on, but may need a lot of help with. They are trying to develop an app for Interact, and they need somebody who is able to develop apps to help them. And I know because I called Bill Yekel, who's from the Aberdeen Club, who used to work with the Department of Defense. I mean, he was a computer whiz, and he has like 20 million questions for me, none of which I can answer. But hopefully he will help these young people get there, whatever it is they want to launch together, to be able to be useful for interactors, because it will help them communicate and help Rotary and help themselves in a way very different than the way my generation was used to doing. So the most important thing I want to convey to you all is that, to me, service is the heart of Rotary. Without service, there really isn't much more to Rotary. Yes, the fellowship is wonderful. Meeting fabulous people is wonderful. I think going to the district conference is going to be wonderful for you all, because I want young people to play a role. I don't want mind-numbing presentations where we're saying the same thing that we said 5 times in a row in the last year. I want it to be engaging, fun. You can have a debate if you want. You can have a comedy act. You can have an American Youth Rotary Idol if you want. Do something different, but you've got to participate. I want you to go to the Houston International Conference, because that is like a buzz you would never have if you just stay within your community. You go to the international conference and you see thousands upon thousands of well-meaning, noble, selfless Rotarians, and that is just incredible. That feeling is incredible. Nowhere else in the world was I able to hold hands with people in my generation like we did in Malmo, Sweden, all of us dancing and singing ABBA songs. You would never have that anywhere else, okay? So I want you to do that. I want you to also show up for our Rotary International President's Gala that we're going to have in celebration of our giving to Rotary. This is the first time. We will probably exceed $1.5 million by the time he comes. And I'm hoping we can get it close to $2 million of funding for the Rotary Foundation, which is a remarkable achievement, because it is people like you who've given. It is all of the members of the district who have given. So that, I think, is just remarkable. If you post all of your pictures of your service days, that would be wonderful, because that's what people want to see. I attended a duck race recently. It was incredible. I never thought a fire station partnered with the Rotary Club, just one small Rotary Club, and the duck race was phenomenal. There were kids, there were families. They raised in one day, within a period of 3 hours, $51,000. I think that is just incredible. That is the work of Rotary. So I want to stop here, but before I do, I will tell you that I always like to say this quote of Rabindranath Tagore, who said that he was the poet laureate of India, who said, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy." I thank you, young people, for everything you do and for having me here at your club. And I thank Mandy for all of her support for the district.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Madam District Governor, for joining us, and thank you for that wonderful message. It's so true what you said. I can just speak for my own self. Once you go to a Rotary International Convention, you will be a Rotarian the rest of your life. As you say, that high is just remarkable to meet like-minded individuals from across the planet. And then you hear what they're doing and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get back to my club and tell my colleagues what I've been hearing about. And actually, I went to the Rotary International Convention in Toronto, and that was where I met a Rotarian who said, if you're moving to DC, you got to check out the Rotary Club of Dupont Circle, because it's a happy hour club. and they're young people and they're a lot of fun. And I came and joined right away. So never even attended another meeting. As far as of service, we're very glad that there's the district service initiatives. We participated in the collection of food in August. I understand that this month, of course, we're working on a blood drive for our members, just encouraging those who can to donate or maybe haven't donated in a long time to consider it again, and those that maybe can't donate, just to get better knowledge about it and educate themselves. That connectivity to the our common person being the focus there.
Yes, and the other thing is, if you've distributed meals, several hundred meals, please let Don Whitfeld know, because we are simply not collecting enough information about how many meals we've packed, delivered, and supplied to area residents. So let Dawn know, give her a total number of how many you have from July 1, okay?
Sure. Okay, we'll have to look into that. One of the big efforts that we've been taking as part of our strategic plan that we worked on with Dolores through the spring was to better connect ourselves to the district and becoming a club in good standing with the district to do matching grants, qualifying with Paul Harris Fellows, as well as the Every Rotarian Every Year. That's something that our actual president-elect, Jessica Swan's been working on. She's our foundation chair this year. And I'm glad that you brought up that points idea. We've been soliciting from our members, those who are willing to put their foot forward, make some commitments towards Paul Harris Fellows, and then we're going to be supporting them with those points. So that's something big.
So you don't need to give more than you want to do. Every Rotarian every year, you can start with $10. It doesn't have to be more than that. In terms of the Paul Harris Fellowship, you just have to start it. Nobody says you have to give it in one lump sum. It doesn't have to be. And then if you encourage someone to give up to 500 points, $500, then the club matches that. That's what we did in our club to get 3 people to become Paul Harris Fellows. Now, sometimes people have given and they've given up to $600 and they've forgotten that they gave that much. And the club can match the rest and just make them a Paul Harris Fellow.
Indeed, yeah, we want to be there because we have plans for sure to get back into international activities and establish a program that we can continue to work on of some scale that would require that district granting. So yeah, we're drinking the Kool-Aid for sure, and as you say, we are so well connected into the district. So we're excited to leverage that scalability.
And Rich will come and speak to your club if you wish about how to get the MOU. You have to just, at least 2 or 3 of you, your foundation chair, yes, and 2 others, the president and maybe the next incoming president, 3 of you attend parts 2, 3, and 4, I believe, if I'm not wrong, but it's on the website if you check it out. So if you attend that, then you get qualified, and I think you can be easily qualified.
Indeed. We do have to shake that out. I think Jessica's got her hand up. Jessica, did you want to mention something?
Thanks, Luke. I just wanted to take this golden opportunity to share some foundation updates since we were on that note. Everything you all said has been totally inspiring, and District Governor Geetha, we are grateful for your service and for the example from above that service is the heart of everything that we do. I have been attending Rich's sessions on Thursday nights. They're terrific. I've gone to the first 4. The next one is October the 20th, which happens to fall on a Wednesday night. More information about that in the newsletter. But I just wanted to share with everyone that we are at $1,385 in contributions to the annual fund. That goes up every week that I check. Our annual fund per capita giving is higher than the district at $58 compared to the $47 at the district. And we are at 10 of 12 Paul Harris Fellows with Gaddy coming along. So we need 2 more. And if you've been following the chat, we shared that there are approximately 6,000 club points in addition to all of the points that members have that District Governor Geetha shared with us. So if you're interested in becoming a Paul Harris Fellow and would like us to match your contribution with some of our points, we'd be more than happy to do that, because we are going to apply for and get a district grant this coming spring.
And
Absolutely.
in Sean's year, there will be more money coming in.
Well,
And yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm so
Hanson
impressed
Lips.
with that $55,000 figure that I heard, that over the life of this club, that much money has been, raised by our previous colleagues. And we want to do them the honor of working to get this administration worked out so that we can tap into some of that fund and, get it back. Because that is the power of Rotary. When I try to explain to people, everyone says, why clubs everywhere? Why, if you want to just help, just go help. But I try to explain this just exponential, leverage.
Yes. Yes. So everything that we contribute multiplies anywhere between 6 and 7 times by the time the recipient gets it. Now, that doesn't happen in any other organization.
Wow. Amazing. Does anyone have any specific directed questions at District Governor Gita? Something that wasn't maybe clear in her presentation, or something you'd like further information about?
If anybody wants to volunteer for Sergeant at Arms for Shekhar Mehta's gala when he comes, please contact Jay Kumar, my husband and PDG. He is trying to put together a group to help out as Sergeant at Arms, because most of the sergeants at arms in the past are now too elderly and they can't be on their feet for several hours.
Very good. And I guess we will probably hear about a district conference probably come January-ish time, or
so
what is
the district conference will be at Turf Valley, and it will be in the last weekend in April. Much has been confirmed. I will be getting Vice President Dean Roars to talk as one of our keynote speakers. She's excellent. Dean is from Canada, but Dean has worked in South Africa. She has worked in many other places in the world, and she's a very inspiring speaker. We're trying to nail down a second person. I was hoping that person would be local. I've been trying to get in touch with him, and I haven't yet had a response. We'll see how that goes. Now, we aim to have a lot of fun. I want to have, because it's Shekhar Mehta's year and because my native land is India, we're going to have some Indian touches. You'll see that even at the gala on November 21st. So it should be a lot of fun. We haven't put together the finer details yet, but much of the schedule is done. There will be, if any of you wants to come and stay at Turf Valley, I think the room rate is very reasonable. It's like $121 a night, which you will not get in Washington, D.C. for certain. So that's something that you want to think about. And closer to the time, I will have, Dawn will be reaching out to every club to see how many of you would show up, whether you want to be in quads, whether you want to share a room. I mean, a number of these things will be discussed with you all.
Marvelous. So last takers, anyone else have a question for DG Gita? Please
I
go
had a
ahead.
follow-up. Gita, can you explain what the Sergeant at Arms does? Because we have a lot of new members on the line.
Yeah, so typically they try to guide the people who come in with registration, try to guide them with their seating, try to make sure that they explain to them where, little housekeeping things like where are the bathrooms and how to go to the next floor and where exactly they will be seated and so on. This time I expect that the seating will have to be arranged because there are so many Paul Harris recipients. There are so many major donors. It's incredible. We have 148 Paul Harris Fellows, which has never been before. We have 37 major donors. We have major donors levels 2, levels 3. We have 1 Arch Clump Society member. We may very well have a second Arch Clump Society member, meaning the individual has given $250,000 towards the Rotary Foundation. So there are just so many recipients, that we are not going to be able to have everybody come up to the podium. So the sergeant at arms will have to be instructed. Rich will instruct them, and Jay will, about helping people in terms of seating, approaching the podium, and keeping their distance, and all of this, which will be a lot of work because it's a large room, and we've engaged a very large room in order to provide adequate distancing, because we are hoping we will have 300 people minimum show up. The room will be able to accommodate 600. Now, we had planned a service event that morning, but I just heard 2 days ago that Shaker will not be coming the previous night, so we canceled the service event and it'll be postponed. It'll be a Meals of Hope, meals packing that we've postponed to my district conference because it can't be held on that day.
Understood. Marvelous. Okay, well then, thank you so much, District
Thank
Governor.
you
It
all.
looks
Thank
like
you.
Kristen has her hand up.
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, Kristen, it's being blocked out by that bright orb light in the top right corner. Go ahead, please.
No worries. I mean, this is actually Geetha, District Governor Geetha. If you tell us a little bit about your history, I think you said you were a Rotaractor, or you are a Rotaractor first, right? But then you said when you asked to get into rodeo, they said they didn't want women. And I do think it's helpful to have the history and how recent it was that they allowed women in.
Yeah.
But also,
So-
I was just interested. I didn't know Rotaract let women in or females in before the Rotary did. So anyway,
Yeah, so, which is very strange, isn't it? So the Rotary Club of Duarte, California, where Sylvia Whitlock was the first president of that club, sued Rotary International. They were a group of women who said, we want to belong to Rotary. And Rotary International said, you know, we are not allowing women. And they sued Rotary International. The lawsuit went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they voted 7-0 in favor of the women joining. So Rotary International had to admit women. Now, that was in '89. I mean, that's really recent if you think about it. So by the time it rolled out to all of the different Rotary clubs across the country, it took much longer. So when I first called the Columbia Rotary Club and said, I want to join, they said, no, because if you join, guys will leave. We don't want you. So they said that actually quite bluntly 3 times and I wasn't the first woman who joined there. I was the third, but there were 2 other women who had joined there before me. Once women joined, they realized, I think, you know, how much work they do. I mean, they do a lot. I was the only person and the first person to start any kind of an international project for that club. But to this day, though, that club has, I think, maybe 1 woman or 2. They have not really increased the number of women. You'll be surprised. There are still clubs, like there's one club in Virginia with 105 men who will not allow women. And nothing has been done about it. Now, when they apparently say, oh, of course, we've interviewed women and we have found them not really, you know, appropriate for our club. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they talk about. So I think, you know, that's why I was so proud to see so many women in this club. I think it's just great.
Absolutely, so do we. And I can definitely agree with you on how much work the ladies do. They continually encourage me and make me look good, I often say. So thank you very much for your commitment, and thank you for speaking to us today. I appreciate you, and we'll let you get on with your evening tonight. So
thank you very much. Bye-bye.
We'll catch you on at the gala. Thank you.
Yes, yes, of course. So if you want to do a Sergeant at Arms, call Jay and let him know you're eager to come and participate. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Awesome. Foolishly, she just left and I did not get a screenshot, but we do have the video. So that's marvelous. Well, friends, as we move forward, let's take up our news articles. Jessica, are you okay to start with the news, or would you like me to lead off?
Of course, but before I launch in, maybe we could have an update on the chili above all these days.
Amen. Director April, do you want to give a chili update?
Yeah. We have a cook-off this Saturday. We invited Homes Not Borders to come join us. And if you want to cook chili or cornbread, it's a fundraiser. You vote for your favorite chili and cornbread with your dollars. And you can bring some alcoholic or non-alcoholic drinks or a side dish to go with that. I just put a link to the Evite in the chat so that you can sign up. We got about a dozen people who've confirmed so far. And I'm having a couple friends over on Friday night. We're gonna make chili and cornbread and have a little party Friday night and then bring it on Saturday. So it'll be fun. So I hope to see you there. And I don't know if Kristen has anything to add.
No, I mean, it won't be, I've been wondering if we should call it a chili dinner, evening dinner, because at this point, if there's only 2 kinds of chilies and there's voting, people might actually get their feelings hurt or something along the lines. I actually twisted Quinn's arm to say he would bring one of his recipes. So, it probably,
I think I saw in the newsletter, but is it too late to sign up to make chili?
No, go for it.
Okay.
and I got a lovely wedding gift from Bevan, who I guess is no longer on, but I got her permission because she gave me her mac and cheese recipe, and so I'm gonna try it out on everybody. So there you go. But more welcome, and it may even, whatever, it's with an intimate group of people, it should be really fun. And hope to see the ones who already RSVP'd there and anybody else who can join us.
And it's 3 to 6 p.m. family friendly. Thanks.
Thank you, April. Thank you, Kristen. And while I've got Kristen on the line, we have an incredible schedule change for this month. So please note that next week will be the week in lieu of our service week, and we are encouraging all members to give blood. I gave today, so do as you're told or something. But anyhow, no, give the gift of life. It's great. It's easy. You'll be in and out in less than an hour. To not only give the gift of life, but also to attend next Saturday, the 23rd's polio luncheon. More information about that in the newsletter. So we will not meet next Tuesday, October the 19th, but we will meet October the 26th. I know that's a change, but we're flexible. Kristen, tell us more about Dr. John Sever. You hooked a big one.
Well, some of you who were around at the beginning might remember him. We actually had him early on when we were a beginning club. He's a member of District 7620. He's the former chief of infectious diseases at the NIH. And he was in that position when the Salk vaccine was released and approved. And so he was pivotal in actually involving Rotary in the worldwide polio eradication campaign that happens today. I mean, he knew Sabin, he knew Salk, he knew all the people who were involved in the beginning of the polio eradication in the United States. And he was the one who enlisted Rotary to try out to see if this would work in other countries. So I don't want to spoil too much of what he wants to tell you, but he's an elderly gentleman, and I've seen him at meetings, but long before COVID. So I was a little nervous, like how up and about he is. But anyway, he said he was available on the 26th. So we're really excited to have him back. We're really excited to hear his ongoing continued support of Polio Plus. We'll send you some media to check out ahead of time, because we actually have a district produced documentary about the whole involvement in Polio Plus, and he's in it. But aside from that, there's other articles just to give you a sense of what history he's witnessed and been part of. And he's of course too modest. He's not going to tell us everything about it. So we're excited to have him in Polio Month, and hope a lot of you can be there, and of course bring friends. It's one of the best things that Rotary's ever done, I think, in terms of its impact on the world.
Absolutely. I was just reading some of the information that he had forwarded, or rather that Kristen had forwarded, to talk about his work. And, he was saying when we first started this thing, they used to offer polio insurance to new mothers when they would have children in the hospitals. So in America, not, somewhere far afield. So, 53,000 children paralyzed a year in America in 1961. So it's not distant history, and still, of course, active in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So yeah, it was the last thing I wanted to do to adjust the calendar, colleagues, but please bear with us in the sense that this is a marvelous opportunity for us to see someone who's a legend, not just in our district, not just in Rotary International, but clearly in medicine and global medicine. So we're very excited about that. We'll definitely update all the calendar invites, and so you're probably going to see a flurry of adjustment emails. But please do share this with your colleagues and friends. This is a wonderful opportunity to explain to them what Rotary does and the incredible exponential impact that I just talked about with District Governor Gita. That's going to be just awesome. And please, Jessica, is there something further?
Yes, please. So we have an incredible group of 3 Rotarian birthdays this month. Monique's birthday was Saturday, April's birthday was yesterday, and Austin's birthday is this coming Sunday. In honor of their birthdays, we're giving away 2 things. First, Mandy has t-shirts. Okay, so reach out to Mandy if you need a t-shirt. Like District Governor was saying, we need all the marketing we can get. Wear it out to the chili cook-off, to the polio day lunch, to Dr. Sever's talk, et cetera, et cetera. The second giveaway is Monique requested that I say something briefly about the points. So Mandy, please keep me on the right track because you're the boss. But what I want to say about the points is this. We need 2 more Paul Harris Fellows to qualify for a grant, among the other things we need to qualify, but we're working on it. So think about what you can give. If you can give $250, if you can give $500, if you can give $750, it doesn't have to all be at once. It has to be throughout the course of this Rotary year. We can match it. So as Kristen has said in the chat, thanks, Kristen. See, another good friend. $1,000 is what it takes, but whatever you give, then we can give the rest with our points. We have somewhere in the ballpark of 6,000 points. So we can throw in some points. If you're interested, let's chat. Monique, how'd I do? Mandy, how'd I do?
You did excellent. I do want to say we have another incoming Paul Harris Fellow who has signed up for the points giving program by making a monthly donation. She decided that $40 was a number that she could live with in her budget. So she's giving $40 a month, but maybe your number is $15 and maybe you become a Paul Harris Fellow next year when you get to that number where we give you matching points. So just, there are plenty of opportunities and flexible opportunities out there. So just reach out to Jessica if you have questions or want to take us up on this sale.
And Howard is taking us up on it.
Yay. I just want to ask about the over the course of your life, over the course of the year, because Geetha did say something that made me also think, oh, do you just have to start and do $50 and it doesn't matter if you didn't get to 1,000 this year?
So we have some people that have given, like, actually, I think it was April. Sorry, April, if I'm going to put you on the spot and I don't even have the data right. She had given something around $230 over the course of her life in Rotary up until this year. And so it was a much lower number for her to have to kind of leap over that hurdle to get to the Paul Harris Fellow amount. You get the pin after $1,000. It doesn't matter if it's within the course of the year. If you give $1,000 every year, that's the Paul Harris Society, which is a whole separate ball of wax and different pin, basically.
Even I learned that. I didn't know that it was just over your lifetime and you could just only do it once, like essentially establishing $1,000 and becoming a Paul Harris Fellow and then it's stayed. I thought you had to like you had to add 1,000 every year, but that's only to remain in the society.
Yes.
Interesting.
But we
Wicked.
need all 12 to apply for grants. So we need 2 more. And Howard's going to take one of those, I think.
Amazing. Thank
Awesome.
you, Howard.
And so like the year we did it, all of us, I think the club I know the club did a matching program. And like I said, I think they challenged us all to 500. And like, I think that was Clarissa's year. And we got, I wanted 5 is low. I think it was a higher than that because a lot of people took it up. So if we just
No, it was
decide that we wanna
500.
push-
It was 500. That was how I got started in my addiction of Paul Harris pens.
Yeah, no, I mean 5 members was, I think we got more. I want to say we got more Paul Harris referrals that year than any other year. I know it was 500 because that's what I did. Because we had so many points given to us, and like with 6,000 points, like we can totally help well, it's not my points to give away, but like sponsor, be like, hey, April, you've been awesome. Like, here you go, or whatever. I don't want to start calling names and get in trouble, but like, yeah, so let's like figure out. Everybody's been great. We can do 6 people. I don't know, right? But I think like it's a great thing to do just to have that one. It's just a Rotary thing to have. And I only did it one time. One day I'm gonna be rich like Mandy and Kristen. I can do it every year. But I just did it that one year, and it's just like a nice association to have to be a part of for Rotary.
That's really cool, Monique. I hadn't thought of it.
Count me in too. I just got to figure out the monthly. That's awesome that it's just a one-time each year. So definitely count me in there.
Well, and I appreciated what DG Gita said was it's about us getting it started on the roster, that we don't have to have all of our members achieve that either. So know that this has been a focus, everyone, in developing the strategic plan, and Jessica's guided this right to a delivered baby, it's looking like. So thank you again, Jessica, and all those that have stepped forward to make that commitment. It's incredible. Friends, I don't want to take more of your time.
And one more thing, guys, you can get other people to donate for you. So like, for example, that year, some of the creative programming, I think like we were like, ask people for money for Christmas to your Paul Harris fellowship. So like, for example, you know what I mean? So you just think about, like, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I'm suggesting, and like, say, hey, instead of this, give to this. Or if you want to run an online fundraiser and say, hey, I want to be a Paul Harris fellow this year, ask your friends to give. Like, just be creative. Like, I know funds are tight and like COVID's happening, and we're a younger club, so we're not as well. Some of us aren't. I aspire to be as rich as like the other clubs, and so like don't let finances be a thing. Like Jessica said, like there's points and there's flexibility. So if it's $250 or $40 or like whatever, like I feel like we have a super flexible club. That's why I love y'all and I love being a part. And I'm off to class, but it's been real.
Goodbye, Monique. Thank you.
Just for clarity on total donations, do like the happy dollars go towards that as well, or is that's extra? Okay.
No, the happy dollars is going into our foundation, our club foundation. That's not a good point of clarity on our part, because we call our own activities our foundation, but then there's the Rotary International Foundation. So there's no running total really of what you've given in happy dollars. That's just something that we do for our own selves. So, but listen, friends, unless there's something really pressing in the newsletter, I'm not going to get Jessica to read the entire thing due to time. But I want to remind you guys that we're also having the Rotary World Polio Day on the 24th. You probably received an email from the district that there's going to be this global effort, this global program. And we would encourage our members to attend. And if you attend, they're asking for a $45 donation. And as part of our commitment as a club, at the board level, we're going to be reimbursing those people who go and attend that function because we have it in our efforts to donate up to $1,000 this year to Polio Plus. So we'll consider that part of our efforts. But first, we want the commitment from our members to sign on. And then if you circle back with Treasurer Mandy, I'm sure she'll put a check in the mail for you.
I plan to attend. Hope to see some of you there.
Yeah, absolutely. I plan to attend as well. And it's going to be on Zoom. So it's pop the earpiece in and listen to the good news and go about your day. And then aside from that, was there anything really important aside from the calendar change and the chili cook-off and World Polio Day?
Luke, I just wanted to add quickly that we will be discussing tonight the possibility of return to in-person meetings. So stay on the lookout for that news. Thanks, Melissa and husband.
Yeah, Mr. EJ
Yeah,
there. We're gonna circle back with him, and we're gonna come up with a plan. Hoping to maybe get some in-person activities in the first weeks of November. You know, of course, bearing in public health requirements and otherwise, but we know that's such an important part for our members to get together in as safe a way as we can. So I see April has shared the RSVP link and something that you can share with our friends, your friends. And think of this weekend, chili, that always brings everyone's shields down and they show their true selves. So maybe invite a friend that's considering Rotary to come check out and find out more about us. Otherwise, let's just skip to Happy Dollars real quick. I don't want to miss an opportunity for us to raise money and for our friends to share great news. Is there anyone that would like to lead us off with Happy Dollars? Quickly. Or we can just save the Happy Dollars to next week if there's no one really pressing.
I would like to give money to Happy Dollars because
Okay.
I'm really proud of our club and I'm really proud of the great picture that we have painted for our district governor. And so I'm going to give $25. Thank you, everyone, for your participation and for showing up tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I really wanted to have a good set of numbers. What we showed tonight was really important when we'll come calling later on. Right on. I see there's a couple of people throwing in a couple bucks for Paul Harrison Rollies. Thank you. And also Jessica. Great. Well, I'm going to be giving this chat to the Rotary Club of Montreal, which was established in 1913, and they only have 14 members. So I've been feeling a little bit frustrated at times that maybe I'm not achieving all the things I was hoping to. And then I realized that, wow, I've got an incredible club that's super dynamic with cash in the bank and an unbelievable future ahead. So that made me excited. Sometimes you got to go and leave the farm to find out just how good of the soil you got back at the house, right? So anyways, is there anyone else with Happy Dollars?
What did you want?
I'll do 20.
Tax. Go ahead, sorry.
I'll do 20. I haven't been here in a while. Nice to see everybody. Speaker was great and looking to reconnect.
Thank you, President AK. I sent you an email about joining the district committee, district governor selection committee. So check in on that one.
All right, take a look.
It's for past presidents only, so I need you.
I got you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Right on. Anyone else? Marvelous. Then let's just move forward with our four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair
to all concerned?
Will it build good
Goodwill and better friendships? Be beneficial to all concerned.
Hey guys, I'm 7 years old.
Be quiet.
You should teach your kids the four-way test, AK.
I do. I should.
Have them take part.